Okay, I am on. Hello, good morning. I think this is episode 7. I spoke last week about doing a spreadsheet and I never did it. So just gonna wait for Tawnya. I hope I could see people clicking on. Oh, here she is. Hi, Eva.
Did I make it?
Hi. Yes. Oh my gosh, I think the top of my head is chopped off. It's fine. It's fine.
That's why I'm like,
Oh my gosh, I'm so close. Hi. Whoa.
And I'm really not.
That's so interesting how it changes. All right.
Uh-huh.
Oh, today's episode 7. I don't know. I was saying before you clicked up, is it 6? Okay, I'll change it. I said, I think it's 7. I said, last week I talked about the spreadsheet. Oh my gosh, I'm so close. And I said, and I never did that. So yeah.
Awesome. Eva and Maria are here.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you for joining. All right, well, let's ask, because so we were talking about a couple of things before we jumped on right here. But Eva or Marie, do you guys have anything or a topic you want to throw out? Hey, Amanda, before we go in, so just whatever pops up.
Oh.
Hi, Anne. Good morning.
Amanda's here.
I'm very, very close to, wait, you guys just going to see me up personal.
And what's funny, not, and it must be, the, because you went live, because I told you to go live first, so it's got to be something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, where do I begin, Eva? Well, is there anything you're curious about? We were going to talk about being authentic with emotions with our kids. That was like one thing, or...
Yeah, and let's dive a little deeper. I mean, we all had vibration and why it's important. That's a good one.
Hi, Jessica.
We all had one, hell of a year of 2020, and I kind of had a meltdown the other day because I felt like I have lost my children in 2020 just because they have changed so drastically. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say it's been stressful, obviously, for everybody. And for me personally, I had my kids more than I had ever had them before. And so I put a lot of tools into use. Failed all the time. Still failing all the time with them. But I think that the major thing is it brought up opportunities. Like my husband, we were having this conversation and he was having a lot of emotions and a lot of emotions were coming up. And my daughter, who's 5, said, "Hey, Daddy, are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. And I think we do that, right? Like we do that as a piece of like protecting, even with friends or with other people.
Thanks, Drew.
Like,
sorry, I'm just ignoring.
Oh yeah, you're good. Or even just like not truly acknowledging how we are really feeling in the moment. And there's tons of reasons for that. But I was watching the interaction between them, and she was looking at him like, wait, you're not fine for what I know fine is, right? And she left and I talked to him and I said, this is the start. Like, this is the start of like validating their feelings because she knows something is wrong and she's seeing you. And in her mind, she knows it's this, and you're trying to protect her, but you're really not protecting her, right? Versus just actually talking to her about, no, I'm not okay right now, but I'm going to be okay. And here's how I'm going to get through that. So I think that was one piece. And also me, of all the times that I've been so human, and even outside of the pandemic, but being so human, like really talking to our kids and just letting them know, like, we are not always okay. And that is life. And we are not always going to be okay. But really talking through that. And that to me it's so different, because I thought of my childhood too, where my parents always kept it together, but I was so intuitive and I knew it was not okay. And it starts this like to me, for me personally, that's me tracking back. That's where it started, this disconnection of my inner knowing versus like what I was seeing. So I know that was like a way tangent, but I felt important to say.
It is important. And I mean, that's like kind of like what Marie was saying, talk about vibration. When we're upset or something, our kids pick up on it. They know.
Better than us. Like, because their little antennas and feelers and everything, they're so more open, you know? Interesting.
I love it when kids, they'll walk in. I'll be here. They'll be over there. They don't even see my face. And they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, you can't see me. I'm like, everything's fine. They're like, no, you're not. And I was like, I'm fine. What's wrong? And they know I'm pissed. It's like, welcome to vibration, energy, you know, body language. It all resides. It's funny when even my husband, I'll be irritated with him and we're in the dark laying in bed. He's like, what's wrong? And I was like, it's dark. You can't see me. I thought you didn't believe in energy. I mean, he's becoming a believer now, but it's funny when you start seeing that.
Yeah, so it's not just with kids, right? So even with Lanny, like he would come home and the minute I saw him, what is going on? And he's like, nothing. And so now we got to the point where if I sense so much that something's off, I'll tell him, can you go sit and actually check in and feel, because something is off. And it's been like with Scott, with you, it's been so much now that when I say that, he's like, okay, let me like let the day settle, or like let it all catch in to really look and see what is going on.
Speaking about settling and letting it come in, I think that's important that we all do that daily. Like, for an example, my daughter went out with her friend yesterday and went bowling. And she's like, you know, can I do school from online? Because she's supposed to be in person because we're doing hybrid. And she's like, I don't feel very good. Like, I have a headache in my stomach. And I was like, you picked up on your friend. So she needs a clearing. But there's so many of these signs. We have a headache, our stomach hurts. We immediately go and take Advil, when we need to settle in and be like, okay, who were we around? What were we affected by? Talking about vibration and energy. What were we absorbing that maybe we need to shed out? Because what happens is it keeps getting piled. Then you pile so much on top of emotions, you get all plugged up, and then it starts into a physical element. But I think it's so important that you check in every day, coming home, on your way home from work, your drive, whatever that looks like for you, and evaluate your own energy.
So I guess let me ask, I haven't seen the comments, but what do you guys do to do that, to evaluate or to clear yourself or to check in? I've been noticing a lot lately. I come home, sing and dance. That is amazing, Amanda. A somatic release, shaking it off, that's amazing. Have you noticed a difference? You said you noticed a lot lately of that energy that's around you. Have you noticed a difference by doing that? When I first started, I would use the shower a lot to like cleanse, because until I started to, I mean, I don't think it's been too much of a secret. I haven't talked about it here, but I'm so much in my head, and I really actually didn't embody or feel a lot. It was extremely blocked. And so when I started on this road, I would use the shower because it was easier for my mind to like have the physical, the water coming down and flushing out. So that's one way I started before I was able to, even before I understood energy as much, and like how I could clear my own body.
It's funny, as I'm sitting here, I just got a new deck. I think a lot of people have it. As we're speaking of this, I go, well, let me pull a card. Spirit saying, we'll pull a card for everybody who's watching and maybe on the replay. Speaking of, you're just talking about being in the shower and let it go. I pulled this card. I don't really
backwards,
care about the words,
okay.
but sorry, but I want the image more than what the word says. And it says time letting go. But see the heart,
Mm.
see the right here, what I thought. And sitting in meditation and expression of the heart. And I feel, as we're talking about this, I think it's important. I'm getting distracted. That's what happens when I do these. We're talking about shower, somatic dancing, letting go, absorb energy. I feel like the message for everybody who's watching, and it's weird because my thing's all jacked up on this side. Slow down, say it again. Stop and meditate and work about expressing through the heart and showering it out, understanding that there's cycles in life, as you see all the circular cycles in life, but begin flowing through your heart. If you've done any of Tommy and I's meditations, or any of our healing new full moon things, or any of my guided meditation, we talk about blasting through the heart, so it can align better. When you do this, speaking of what Tommy's talking about with letting go, that really starts dropping any energy that you may have picked up from anybody. So the message is meditate. I heard that.
Hold on, Anne has a question. Let me see if I can expand it. She said, do you have any suggestions about how to start introducing this process to a tween? My 12-year-old is intuitive and sensitive like me, but stoic like my husband. And I don't want to force her to share more or express more, but I worry about her holding on and not letting things move through.
Clear when they're asleep and don't let them know. Teenagers are a pain in the ass.
Okay, so there's one way. And so Anne, I know, do you know how to clear another one, even with what you're doing? I know you mentioned something about you were working with somebody and like you intuitively knew what to do. So I'm going to ask. She said, "Oh my God," laughing. I mean, what Tawnya said is accurate. I just wanted to talk about it more. Like if you tap into her, can you see like what it is that she needs to clear? Or is that even answering? I feel also that she's saying, like, how can she have a conversation to even start to talk about this because she feels a little shut down?
Yeah, and that's Bradley too.
Okay. Let me wait for her to respond. I always remind my kid to shield up and keep his bubble strong. That's a really good one, Amanda, too. And of introducing the bubble around them.
And if they don't do it because they don't want to listen to you and
up.
they are in bullet form. I have two. One who feels everybody's emotions, that's my son, my daughter, who sees with her physical eyeball dead people and everything else and is super intuitive, and they still don't want to talk to me.
And then, Anne, I'm going to tell you another tool that they're showing me right now. If you can imagine like a strainer, which it seems like interesting, but if you can imagine a strainer and you can go over her energetic body from the feet up or the top down, and you're basically just like straining her, and like what comes out of that strainer will be the stickiness just to like keep her open. She said, I think maybe both will be helpful clean her injury and also starting.
And if they don't have conversation and they shut down, say Amanda's kids maybe are more open, Tommy has younger kids, they're more open. Stacia was when she was younger, and then we hit a wall with teenage years. So if they don't, you just do it for them. And then they'll figure it out in their 20s and they come back. And then, Anne, when you start Rainbow, we'll teach you other techniques.
Yeah.
That's a good
I think maybe Anne start with the energetic clearing and see if she's more open. And then we can also talk later about specifically with her, like how to have the conversations or navigate that. I'm like feeling into you talking to her, and it's like kind of like, but I feel like as you do that, it might be a little bit more clear of like a crack you can get in. Okay.
And we all know this because I'm living it. If you completely get shut down from your teenager and they do not want to talk, clear them when they're asleep, throw them in a bubble. I've noticed as soon as that we went back, I'm in Kansas, so it was November. Tommy's in California. She's in a different story. As soon as the first day of school, her energy went complete drain, and I just had to clear her and get her restarted. Sometimes they'll want to talk. And what did you say? Her son was, or her daughter, or somebody was 12,
Her
right?
daughter, I believe she's 12. Yeah.
Because that's just 1 year younger, because I got a 13 and a 16-year-old. So it also depends on, where your kids kind of are open. I'm talking more towards the kids who don't want to talk about it. Mom's not cool. None of this is cool. Nobody's doing this. If you can even open up a little bit, I recommend what Tommy is saying. Like, see if you can open up a little bit, which is funny because my daughter's friends are open. They'll talk to me, but my daughter doesn't want to talk about it.
Which,
like, she knows I talk.
well, it's also just, I can talk to Tanya's daughter different than Tawnya. Okay, so Amanda said, I'm very open with my kid. I want him to grow up with this knowledge in his backpack. I wish I would have known this stuff when I was younger. My son is 12 as well. Yeah, and I agree. Like, I was a kid, but like we know when we know, and here we are, And 12, I still think is young to, even if at 12, having all this information and how to navigate life and situations just from a different perspective, or it's more even understanding. Yeah, Jessica, I agree. We've even talked about like having a school like this, right? Because it's these type of tools. Yeah. I actually just we had parent teacher conference yesterday, and I was talking to my daughter's teacher. My daughter's in kindergarten. She's 5. And like she's extremely smart, but she was getting 1s, and she was like in her focus on Zoom. And I just jumped in and I said, my feeling on Zoom. She's 5, and to stay focused on this little screen, I said, and then I even wanted to be like, is because she was almost making it sound like she was the only one, even though I know it was our conference, but I was getting very irritated saying, I'm not going to just have her sit. It's such a fight. So I have her get up, and sometimes it's Zoom. They're on Zoom for 3.5 hours at 5. And so I was like, oh no. And I basically told her, she was like, her writing is, it's like all this stuff. And I said, and I basically told her, I said, we do what we can when we're on Zoom and I'm sitting there with her doing it. I said, but I'm not doing it afterwards. After we're on all day, I'm not going to be doing school until 4 o'clock, and she doesn't like it. I don't want her to hate school. And I said, just even for her mental health, and I'm using these type of words, and she's looking at me like, but and they just started to go back to school 2 days a week. And I told her, I said, do you see a difference of her in class? And she's like, complete. And I said, then why are we even having this conversation? Right? Like, why are you even telling me about anything on Zoom? Okay, now I'm going to get angry.
I was like, I got with my daughter's teacher and I went off. So I'm like,
Yeah. I was just saying. Yeah, they shouldn't. And it's,
And Spirit's bringing this up. We're doing it actively right now. So the more they see the way we act after we do a healing, after we meditate, after we sit in our space, after we sit in the sacred group, if that begins to be the ripple effect, mothers, we are the leader of the house. So the more we integrate, they're going to be like, mom's onto something. So regardless if they're going to say it or not, they're going to talk about it. Say it again. We lead, but we also show them what this can do.
We hold the tone. Like, we hold the tone of the house. Yeah.
And the more we stay in integrity with ours and hold our stuff, and we're not perfect, it ripples out. So Spirit wanted that to, because they watch everything. We talked about that. They feel everything. They watch everything.
Yeah. And my kids will come to me and ask me for a clearing, which I get. I mean, they have I'm very open to them. And I'm gonna tell you, when I started this, I wasn't. I would like go into my room, shut it, do my crystals, do my cards, and it's like that piece of my life was very like separate. And then I integrated the two because it's too hard, and I just am who I am. And so it's been that way since I'd say since probably 2019 that I really have like integrated the two. And so they ask for it now when they're feeling off, which is amazing. Yes. And so I don't know how it will be in the next few years, but I'm excited to see.
Well, Bradley does. If Bradley gets hurt, he's going to be the first one to say, Mom, can you help me? We were at the soccer game one time, and it was indoor soccer. It's futsal. So just to give everybody an understanding, you are in a basketball court playing soccer with the gym. Okay, so it's super fast, super quick. And he twisted his ankle and he was hobbling. He couldn't walk. He couldn't put any pressure on. He's hobbling off the field. And I'm like, shit. And he just looks at me. So I go around on the other side and I just looked at him and I was like, and of course my back, you're in front of the,
talk about hiding. I know.
I like talking about hiding. I'm over here like this, and the coach is looking at me like, what the shit is she doing? And I'm like, don't look at me, just watch the game. And I'm like sitting here and I just focus. And this was like right when I had started, like, I think the very first rainbow group, like, or maybe I hadn't even started it. I started my own healing. It was, I don't know, a while. And the coach is looking at me because Bradley couldn't walk. Like, he knew he couldn't walk. So he's like, did he twist his ankle? Did it bring it? I was like, I don't know. Just give me a second. And he's wearing like shin guards and the whole bit. So I'm just like, just hold on a minute. So I took it off and he's like, ow, 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 ow. He's all, and then all this pain. I don't know if we took it off. Anyway, so I'm sitting here and I'm hiding like with my back face the game. And I just like focus in. And I said, I told him, I said, take a couple deep breaths and just hold on. And then he like moved his foot. And then he looks and he moves. He's like, and the coach looks at me and I was like, don't say it.
We're just going to pretend that this just didn't happen here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I'm wearing a coat because, it's in winter indoor. And I'm like, so I'm in my coat and everything. And I'm, even though we're inside, and I'm like, and he's like looking at me and Bradley's like, oh my God, Mom, it's done. And the coach looked at me and goes, he's okay. And I was like, yeah. And I just turned around and walked away. I was like, it's fine.
We need to normalize
I don't know what to say. So Bradley, if he gets hurt, he's the first one to hop on, and then I will help him. So
okay,
kids.
Eva has a question. So I've been meditating more lately, and there's such a difference. Any energies I need to be aware of or mindful of? What do you mean energies? Like earth energies or cosmic energies?
I think she means like, is the it out playing?
That is so interesting. You said that. Okay, she said earth. Okay, I was feeling more that too. Okay.
There's an important here's a, and Tommy can talk but about what she feels on this, but Spirit's going to teach you guys something. When you start meditation, and if you've been in our any of our groups, you'll know this. You put yourself in your bubble and you go to the highest point of God's light. Heaven's Gate, heaven, white space. If you've been working with me for a while, like anything, like you go to the highest point of light and you'll be golden. If you, this is another trick, are in there and you begin to go this way, backtrack and begin thinking negative, you'll actually, which is funny, not funny, fall out of the space, out of the vibration into a lower field. So you need to begin your meditation going to the highest space of light and then let spirit, angels, whatever, clear you and move you.
Yeah, I'm feeling that. I don't know what's going, we can talk later, but it's like, are you feeling pulled down by something on the earth? So exactly what Tawnya just explained of that loop back, I feel like there's a tug of war going on, and I'd have to feel into it more to make sense of it. But
and you schedule the healing with Tommy so that you're golden.
I had to ask for space while I figured out how to help them cross over. It was intense. I cleared it last night. Yeah. Okay, Eva, that makes sense. Well, let's see how you feel after today.
I have, it's all, I feel like you might be fighting with yourself. So that's where I'm getting.
Yeah.
And I think it's not anything else around you. I think it's your own mind, which we all go through.
I think Amanda's talking about when she was in meditation, she actually felt like spirits that just crossed over. I think that's what I'm getting. And they were of a lower vibration. And you asked, oh, that's good. So you asked them to step back.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Eva.
Eva, it's good.
I'll
It's
get
gonna
you
be
back.
golden.
Yeah, no worries. Everybody does it. And this has been a hell of a year. That's why I lost my shit the other day.
All right. Well, we have 5
What is
minutes.
it?
I know. I was just gonna say. I know you have to get off. You have a hard stop. So
I do.
that's amazing. Well, let us know, Amanda, how that goes, because you do have the control over that. Of a lot.
Especially
I
with
was just gonna say about actually allowing them in. We all do, Eva. It's okay. Yeah, I'm sure, Amanda, you were like, what? It's quite interesting. I felt the same when I started to see them.
So just so everybody knows, the middle of the month, I've kind of taken a Facebook break because Spirit wants me to kind of recharge and realign for all the rainbow groups that are starting back up. So this is the only thing that I'm doing. But the middle of October, shit, where the hell am I going? March. That I'm not gonna be here, so we won't be doing it in the middle of the month. We're going on spring break, going camping, and what else were you going with this?
Yeah, so we'll do this on Wednesdays, and then
Yes, thank you. And then we're gonna do a free like reading thing probably in April, so we'll get back on that in April. Maybe Tommy will come in live and do it, but I'm getting asked by Spirit to
take a hiatus.
Chill out for pretty much. So that's what I will be doing.
All right.
Tommy's off going to be doing some healing and holding space on her group page. She'll post in the comments after. She's been getting pushed by Spirit, especially after we did the free reading thing, to hold space in her kind of group. So if you guys are interested in that, she'll shoot the things that she's going to be doing Monday and Friday there. We're just getting ready for new, recharge batteries. We're just getting ready for spring and new adventures. And so Tommy's going to be offering a lot of stuff, stepping out more. So you guys definitely join her page and tell your friends. She'll post that below.
Thank you for being here. We love you so much. And
yep. And if you guys are interested in joining my level 1 rainbow group, if you want to talk to a level 2 or level 1 practitioner, let me know. There's a few in this group. It closes the 15th.
Yeah. About 2 weeks, a little under 2 weeks.
Yeah, 13 days. So you guys have a great week.
Love you. Mwah.
Love.
Bye.
Bye.